Yo guys, what is going on? JPS back for the video, and today we're going to be reacting to why Tesco failed in the United States. This should be an incredibly interesting video because when Will and I were in the United Kingdom, Tesco was something we literally relied on for cheap, quality food. You know, you have the 3 for 3 meal deal. It was something we had never come across. And I know it may sound funny to you guys because it's just a meal deal. No, seriously, that was such a good value. There's no equivalence in the United States. So I thought this would be a really cool video for us to check out. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit subscribe. Consider joining my Patreon. It's the first link in the description. We watch movies and shows over there. But yeah, let's get right into this. I'm really curious to see why it failed because I feel like the United States is a perfect market for a cheap meal deal. I don't know. Let's see.
When you think about London, the obvious landmarks come to mind: Big Ben, Buckingham Palace, and the Tower Bridge. But there is an unofficial staple in the UK that extends well beyond the country: Tesco. It's the largest retailer in the UK with over 3,400 stores. The brand has been met with success abroad in Europe and Asia, with international operation profits of over $500 million in 2018. There are more than 6,500 stores worldwide, but there is one place that the UK retailer just didn't take off: the United States. Tesco announced its US expansion in 2006, and at the time, Tesco was the third biggest retailer on the planet.
Damn.
But the brand just didn't click with Americans. Tesco left the US in 2013 when it sold off its remaining stores to Ukaipa companies. To understand why Tesco failed in the US, let's go back to the company's start. Tesco got its start in 1919 when Jack Cohen began selling surplus groceries from a stall in London's East End. The first official Tesco store opened 10 years later with the idea of bringing affordable foods to the people of Great Britain. In the 1930s and 1940s, Tesco expanded across London and the suburbs. Tesco went public on the London Stock Exchange in 1947, and in the 1950s, it opened its first supermarket. Starting in the 1990s, Tesco set its sights on global expansion. Tesco had stores in the Czech Republic, Poland, Ireland, Thailand, Malaysia, and India. By 2007, Tesco had over 1,300 stores in 12 countries.
I had no idea that Tesco was even international. I thought it was a completely British thing. So I'm learning already.
In that same year, the company invested roughly $500 million to establish operations in the United States. And in November of 2007, Tesco entered the US market. Instead of going by the name Tesco, these stores opened under the name Fresh and Easy. The name was supposed to introduce Americans to what they would expect from shopping at Tesco in America: fresh food at a reasonable price. It also had small store formats to make shopping simpler, and it offered lower prices under its company-owned labels. For Americans, the shopping experience at Tesco was a lot different from what they were used to. Fresh and Easy stores were a fraction of the size of the average American grocery store. They were designed for the kind of consumer who shops daily. There were more ready-to-go meals for consumers than your typical American grocery store. And there were lots of self-service checkouts. The format of typical American grocers are really big compared to Tesco's. They're designed for a shopper who shops in bulk and on a weekly basis. That means checkout count.
I know people, my family shops on almost a monthly basis sometimes. Like Americans, we don't shop daily at all. It's usually when you're going to the grocery store, you're going to spend a good amount of money.
Counters are typically staffed with clerks and baggers, and there are more brand names on shelves. And there isn't nearly as big an emphasis on ready-to-go meals.
The designation Fresh and Easy is actually a very good sub-branding. In other words, Fresh and Easy, pretty much sums up the two key attributes that they were selling: freshness of the product and convenience.
The first of Tesco's 53 Fresh and Easy stores all launched in the West in states like California, Arizona, and Nevada.
Okay.
So how did Tesco come up with its strategy for the US? It actually embedded with the American consumer before entering the market. Tesco sent executives and anthropologists to live with families in the US to get a sense of how the typical American family spends their money on groceries.
And they put a large number of people, maybe 40 people, into California to research the market. But these people did not research the market very intelligently. They understood the culture to a degree. The concept of these Fresh and Easy stores, these small convenience stores with fresh and easy food, that was something that would work in London with Tesco Express, but wouldn't work so easily in the LA area.
And at Tesco's peak in the United States, it had 208 Fresh and Easy banner stores, and all were in the West. That was actually well below expectations. Tesco initially planned to open 200 stores by the end of 2008, but it ultimately wanted to open 1,000 stores. But by 2013, the retailer was hemorrhaging cash in its first 5 years in the US. The company racked up losses of over $1.5 billion.
Are sales improving on a weekly basis?
Every week.
Are they meeting Tesco's original targets?
Our sales are improving every week, and we're very happy we're exceeding budget.
Bro, that's how you know. That's how you know. Oh my God.
You're exceeding budget?
We are exceeding our budget.
You're making a profit?
We are. I didn't say that. I said we're exceeding our budget.
Tesco anticipated it would finally break even in 2014, but the brand decided not to wait it out. It announced in April 2013 that Tesco would exit the US market. What went so wrong with Tesco in the US? When Tesco launched in America, its stores were all located in the West.
At the time they decided to enter the US market, they'd done their research, they had found that per capita spending at supermarkets in the western states where they had targeted was higher than any other region in the country, actually about 15% higher than the national average in 2007.
But then the financial crisis of 2008 hit.
Like
many other companies, Tesco didn't see the Great Recession coming.
Where two of the core metropolitan areas that they had decided to focus on were Phoenix and Las Vegas. When the recession hit, the economy in those two metro regions cratered. The subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession was going to be bad news for anybody. But their particular geographic focus in the West meant that it was particularly bad news for them.
Tesco's locations also happened to be in some of the states affected most by the Great Recession. Arizona, California, and Nevada saw unemployment rates that are higher than the national average. Consumers in these states also cut back on spending, and when they did spend, they went to retailers that offered the lowest prices possible.
But just in general, in terms of entering the market, in terms of the recession, this is a really bad time to kind of have this message that Fresh and Easy espoused of having, hey, fresh and healthy products at a competitive price. Because as consumers look to stretch their budgets as far as possible when the recession hits, they turn to well-known retailers that have long-standing reputations for low prices.
These stores were also in an area.
Like, if I'm broke, I'm not gonna go to Fresh and Easy. I'm gonna go to Walmart and buy like cheap crap. You know what I mean? That's a fair point. And some could argue we're in a recession right now.
Where there wasn't much foot
I don't
traffic.
even know.
So they ended up acquiring leases on a large number of properties that were basically on the wrong side of the road. In other words, they were on the inbound commuting side of the highway instead of the outbound or going home side of the highway. So you can see immediately that, you know, people are going to go straight by them on the way into work. When you want to go in to get something to eat on the way home from work, they're on the wrong side of the road.
Geography was only part of the problem. Tesco also faced pushback by the American consumers. The Fresh and Easy stores didn't embrace the idea of the classic American grocer. Instead, they embraced Tesco's British style of food shopping. American grocery shoppers tend to gravitate toward larger stores that have everything under one roof. But the Fresh and Easy chains were approximately 1/5 the size of the typical American grocery store. The reason for the smaller store footprints is because Tesco's typical shopper shops at the store daily. Smaller stores make it easier for shoppers in the UK to grab what they need on a day-to-day basis and go home.
I gotta know this, guys. Comment down below how often you shop for groceries. I'm super curious now because I had no idea. But now that I think about it, if you look at the leading grocery stores in the United States, Costco, Walmart, they're enormous. Costco, you can buy a TV, you can buy a refrigerator, you can buy your groceries, you can literally anything you need is there. Walmart, they have Subways inside of them. They have nail salons. They have money exchange centers. It's literally just everything you need in one spot, which is what's leading in the American grocery store industry right now. So it does make sense why, you know, some things they just don't transfer across the pond because there's such large cultural differences. And this is a perfect example. It's fascinating, actually, now that I think about it.
But American consumers tend to grocery
I had never
shop
thought
in
about
bulk
that
on a weekly basis. Plus, the Fresh and Easy stores also place a substantial focus on ready-to-go meals, which are a big seller in the UK and Europe. Tesco built a massive distribution center in Riverside, California, complete with commercial kitchens that help churn out these prepared meals. But Americans are more accustomed to ordering takeout or cooking meals themselves. Then there were the safety issues with Tesco's food that turned away American shoppers.
Bro, I love how it's a burger and fries. Yeah, that's accurate.
Address food safety issues. Fresh and Easy stores offered produce that was wrapped together in cellophane bundles. Now, consumers in the U.S., however, and that might have worked in the UK and in Europe, but consumers in the U.S., they're picky when it comes to getting their produce because people want to be able to touch their produce before buying. However, because the food was wrapped, or the produce was wrapped in cellophane, people weren't able to do that. And additionally, if they wanted, for example, like one item, like one onion or one bell pepper, they were not able to do that. They would have to buy it kind of in wrapped with multiple items.
Tesco's Fresh and Easy chains didn't go after big retailers like Target and Walmart. They tried to target a niche market of consumers. But the stores just simply didn't resonate with the American shoppers.
Damn.
In the end, Tesco pulled out in 2013 at the cost of several $billion. It sold off its stores and its distribution and production facilities to Yucaipa companies. Yucaipa acquired more than 150 store locations, while the others were shuttered by Tesco. Tesco also ended up loaning Yucaipa companies $120 million to take over the Fresh and Easy brand. But just 2 years later after the sale, Yucaipa began to close down the remaining Fresh and Easy stores, and in 2015, the company filed for bankruptcy. CNBC reached out to Tesco about the company's time in the US, but the company did not respond to any questions.
Hell, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either.
Tesco isn't the only British supermarket to fail in the US. Sainsbury's exited the US in 2004, and Marks & Spencer's called it quits in 2006. So Tesco's ill-fated attempt to break into the US wasn't totally unprecedented, but it did turn out to be one of the biggest failures yet, and resulted in major losses for the UK retailer.
Ooh. Hey, what can I say? We're a tough crowd. Now listen, I was thinking about this just now. What if Tesco had gone into New York City? Okay, hear me out. Now, their grab-and-go stores, or like the Sainsbury's local stores or the Tesco local stores, that is what Will and I found to be the most, like, the best experiences, because they have super cheap prices. You're right in and right out. You know, it doesn't take up much space. They're small stores, could definitely fit in a large metropolitan city. And East Coast, a lot more like movement. You know, people are on their way to work. Like, people are moving quickly on the East Coast, especially in New York City. You know, West Coast, people view the West Coast, because I'm on the East Coast, so we view the West Coast as not moving nearly as fast, which, you know, whether or not that's true, everyone's always going to have their stereotypes about different parts of the country. But I really do believe that one of those local Tesco stores would have thrived in a fast-paced metropolitan environment. I do agree, though, that the grocery store, I don't like. It's just, that's how Americans are. Like, it's very hard to break into a market when people are very predisposed to a certain way of shopping. So, wow, really interesting video. Learned so much today, and this was something that was on my mind during the trip, and once we got back, I was like, wow, like that Tesco, like I love Tesco, and we brought it up so many times throughout the vlogs, and you guys are all probably wondering, like, why is this such a big deal? It's because we don't have something like that, like especially the meal deal. So anyways, sorry, I'm very passionate about the meal deal. Went off on a little rant there. But yeah, with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if there's any other big stores or chains that I was in while I was in the UK that failed also in the United States, or that succeeded. I may not be aware of them. Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you guys smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.